So we're going to continue our series on student loans and how it affects our society and how it affects students, student loan debtors, and the consequences of student loans. So the purpose of me doing this series is for us to be more aware of what we're taking out as a student loan. It's all about the planning. And in every part of our life, we should be planning. We should know or have a plan as to what our estimate is of how much debt we're going to owe and how it will affect us in the future. So today we're going to discuss the future effects of student loans. So several research organizations have done studies on the impact of student debt and understanding the domino effect. So when you take the student loan out, why we talk about planning? Why am I talking about planning? Because that's what I talk about when it comes to finances. That's how you control your finances. That's how you control your money. That's how your money doesn't control you. If you think about it and you're a student and you graduate and you have student loans, your loans are going to control the way your finances are being impacted. It's going to control what type of lifestyle you're gonna be living. How long are you gonna take to get a mortgage? How much you're gonna put in retirement? What kind of car are you gonna buy? When are you gonna have kids? All these different things that it's gonna affect. So there is a domino effect of borrowing money. Most people, I can't say always, but that's what I'm teaching is planning. Planning and understanding what you're doing, estimating, budgeting for these things is how you're able to control it. So when we talk about budgeting for college and budgeting for your student loan is part of your budget. A lot of kids, you hear them talk about their budget for college or university by just looking at, okay, I have this much money every month, how much am I gonna have to spend, yada, yada, yada. Well, guess what? What are you going to have to pay when you get out? What is that? The lifestyle you're living in college, a bunch of us talk about our ramen noodle lifestyle. Well, I don't know if kids are doing that now. I don't know if they're thinking about what they're going to pay when they get out. So the repayment of your student loan has a domino effect. It affects how you juggle your mortgage, how you juggle your car payment, what kind of car you get, what kind of credit card bills you have. You want to make sure that, the debt that you're taking, the responsibility that you're investing in your education does not crush your debt experience or affect you, become a bigger problem for you when you graduate. So let's say that you are an accounting student and you want to be a CPA. So you decide that you are going to go to, let's say you're going to go for us, state colleges, in-state college in the state of Florida. Let's estimate that a state university might cost with tuition and room and board, and it's going to cost you maybe $20,000 a year, $15,000 to $20,000 a year. I would say in-state, it's going to be around that in today's society. How are you going to be paying that? With an accounting, so let's say part of that, you got some scholarships, your parents have saved some money for you, you're gonna have a part-time job, and then you have $5,000 of student loan a year. That's $20,000 when you're done. All in all, that is not a bad amount of student loan to have. You want to make sure that you're looking at what type of student loans you have, whether it's subsidized, unsubsidized, private loans. You definitely want to focus on subsidized student loans because they're subsidized by the government and the interest rate is usually a lot less on those. So we've all talked about how interest rate affects your payment. So if the interest rate is higher, your payment is higher. If the interest rate is lower, your payment is lower. So you want to make sure that when you're shopping for your student loan, you're looking at what where you're getting the loans from and what the interest rates are also, because there is a domino effect from that. There's a few different types of domino effects. I mean, once you, if you have the loans and you weren't thinking about what it is, then it becomes a stressor for you later on in life. You want to, it affects you. 35% said that it's damaging with their relationship with their spouse. It's damaging. 26% says it affects their performance at work. So because they did not plan about it, they didn't understand how it will affect them. They didn't know which marketable degree they were doing and what they're going to come out making with that degree in order for them to budget properly with the student loans. Some people are so in debt with their student loans because they did not plan for it, that they come out and they have all the student loan debt. They're not even able to live a minimal lifestyle, depending on which degree you are making. If you come out and you're making $50,000 as a teacher, most teachers need a master's degree in today's society. How much student loan are you able to take to become a teacher, to be able to live in which part of the country you're living a decent life and still pay back your student loan? I call the student loans a mortgage. It's equated to a mortgage because it's a long-term debt that you have invested in your education, which for you might be tangible. With the home is tangible, but the government has a recourse when it comes to your home. So you need to consider that payment in your budget. That's going to be something that's going to be in your budget for however many years that you have the student loan. If they're 10-year terms, then, for 10 years, you're going to have to be paying off the student loan, and it's going to reduce the amount of money that you have to spend in your budget on your life expenses. So you need to look at that. You need to make sure that, you're looking at how much. Cannot stress enough how much you're borrowing. The borrowers that are borrowing more than $50,000 or more, that have more than $50,000 or more, it is affecting them adversely. It's affecting them emotionally, physically, mentally. You need to make sure that you are thinking about that and you're looking at that, that part of it. You need to, it's said that people are delaying getting married or having a family. They're deferring whatever they're dreaming about to do. So in society, because of their student loan debts. So you need to make sure that if you're planning this, you can better understand what it is that you are going to be delaying in your future. That will depend on how much debt you are. So yes, you want to go to your dream college, but are you going to be crushing another dream or delaying another dream later on in your life because you're picking a college and you're not considering the investment in that college or university? You're not considering the cost. In my opinion, and from what I've seen, higher education ranges vastly on the cost of it. It can range, if you're going to a state college here in Florida, it can be $3,000 a year, $3,500 a year. Whereas you can be going to an out-of-state university or a private university where it's $80,000 a year. So the cost does range vastly. You can choose. It's just like saying, you can get an education. Where you get the education, how much you're investing on the education. If you need an education, you can get an education. Just like I've said, if you need a pair of shoes, you can get a pair of shoes. How much you want to invest in that pair of shoes, how much you can invest, how much you can afford, how much your parents can afford, varies from different people to different people. So, but you need to understand what these things are before you actually decide. It has to be your financial plan, has to be part of your future plan, because there is a domino effect. It affects your life later. It affects everything within your life. So, it affects your credit cards, it affects your credit, it affects your home ownership, it affects your cars, it affects how you are, your family is living, it delays certain things. So there is a domino effect to student loan debt. And you need to be aware of that. And the ways to combat this is by planning, by having the smart money habits of budgeting your college, budgeting university, talking about this in several different talks with your parents, with your counselor, with your school, and deciding how much you think you can afford to pay back before looking at your financial package, before you look at the school that you're looking at. So this is continuing our series on student loan debt, the domino effect. There will be a last part of this, which is going to be talking about the long-term effects, very similar to the domino effects, and we're going to continue that next. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, feel free to give me a follow to get updated on new and upcoming episodes, and listen in every Tuesday and Thursday, where I teach you smart money habits so you can make better money choices with a financial goal focus.